Hello guys, I know this is going to be in a different setting and it might come off in weird production, but I'm going to start raw. I mean, I'm already a bit late on the upload, so this will be uploaded on a different service. A double upload for both SmackDown and Raw. Whatever, let's go through it, because obviously I'm just happy to get this over with before we go to the Royal Rumble, so whatever I'm going to say, find it late, it's a bit updated today. This is Thursday, Wednesday is going to be uploaded Thursday, while SmackDown may be uploaded tonight. So, kind of weird rotation. I won't be doing this next week. The Royal Rumble, hope to get through it. I promise you guys, playoffs, should be getting through it. But we're going to just go over Raw. SmackDown's already recorded, I'll deal with that later. So, we started Raw, alright. We had a pretty decent segment. I thought Braun Strowman actually had better words to say than he had for the past few weeks. Trying to get involved into a match that he obviously, they want to put him in the Royal Rumble maybe so he can have a WrestleMania match. I don't know how this is going to work out. Updated news for the Royal Rumble. I'm hearing that John Cena has suffered an ankle injury in his last Raw match, back when it was the Fatal 4-Way involving Finn Balor, something. John Cena was in the Fatal 4-Way, so they're bringing up that John Cena might not be competing, or at least he's going to be eliminated shortly into the Royal Rumble match. So that's just outside information, and my thought, I don't care, because obviously John Cena's the only spout of star power that we have instead of Braun Strowman. I think Braun Strowman can bring up most of the buys, because really, who remembers a lot of title defenses in the Royal Rumble? Yes, you can bring up Edge, John Cena, Sheamus, Randy Orton. Hell, just a few years ago, they finally put that WWE title on the line back in 2016 for the Royal Rumble, like back in the 90s. But that was because of a lack of star power, and we really had nobody to defend the title against when Roman Reigns got it. So, it's either just give the belt to Triple H. So yes, they were trying to make a David and Goliath matchup. So you made Brock Lesnar just waste his time, because he knew he was just going to walk out, do a few hits, because he was just about to view the match of Braun Strowman and Finn Balor when Vince got the David and Goliath story completely mixed up. And, you know, the guy that did the God versus McMahon storyline, I thought he'd be a lot more accurate. Or make a different story involving a different religion or a different mythological tale on an underdog fight. I'm just saying. Just something more intelligent for Vince. But David and Goliath, people are more well known for the original underdog story, so obviously they would go with that. I thought it was a really corny segment. I thought Finn Balor couldn't hold his own on the mic. It was a completely boring segment. So this opened up. There was a lot of just open matches. This was the actual monitored match that was actually told by an authority figure, this is what we're going to show on the show. Really, they never previewed any other matches that were going to be coming. But they did. It was just underlined in the bottom of the show, so you could see it. Really good, WWE. Whatever. So, yes, it was Finn Balor, and it was just Finn Balor beating the ever-living crap out of Braun Strowman later into the show, with Balor losing by winning by disqualification, because even though earlier into the match when Balor went down for a suicide dive, he was trying to hit Brock Lesnar, he got belly-to-belly to suplex, and the referee completely saw it. They didn't call anything down for that. But as soon as Brock hits the F5, or German suplex, I don't know which, he got disqualified. Brock Lesnar is supposed to be having this 2-week campaign, 2-week showdown, because this has been going on for 2 weeks. Thanks, Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar were supposed to be built up with very little conflict. So whatever trying to build up Brock Lesnar as being this pay-per-view guy, he doesn't beat up anybody else. He doesn't prove his authority. He doesn't strike fear into McMahon. This is just completely disinteresting as a show. I mean, I would love to see Finn Balor taken as a big threat, but Unless he has the Damon gimmick, and he does something except missile drop kicks all over the place, there's nothing that interests me that Finn Balor deserves a championship opportunity. Really, that could have went to somebody else, but Bobby Lashley had to hold the Intercontinental title, and he stuck with a mediocre manager. Seth Rollins is already somebody else that I'm going to criticize later into the show. And Braun Strowman, obviously, they might have better plans for him. And John Cena, do you really want to see another John Cena Brock Lesnar match? Good to know, and I don't care if you do. So we're gonna go into the next matchup, and it was supposed to be Bobby Lashley going into a one-on-one matchup with Apollo. Apollo Crews. I mean Apollo. Shut the hell up. Whatever. Black on black match. Never been done before. I'm joking. I'm being really ignorant. Oh my god. But yes, Brock Lesnar. Bobby Lashley. Crap. Bobby Lashley with his first exhibition match against Apollo Crews. First, they did a little pose off when Bobby Lashley was coming into the ring. And then Apollo Crews came. So they did the same thing Scott Steiner and Triple H did back in 2003. Because Apollo Crews, he's been trying to sneak in out of like nowhere so we can get him into feuds with anybody else, like Elias or Baron Corbin, now the Intercontinental Champion. Well, he's a heel, so that makes sense. Because obviously the corny feud that they're doing with Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey isn't cutting it. So, yeah. Can't wait to see this. It was an alright match. I thought it was really more testament into Apollo's strength. And everybody just showing out of each other. It started off Leo Rush with a distraction. Apollo lifting him up in a huge spear to get the win. Lashley wins and Seth Rollins comes out of nowhere so he can make a stupid promo so they can get a conflicting match without any authority figure making that out. When that should have been the main event. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. How come that's not your main event? Oh, because Ronda Rousey's the most consistent champion. Yet not with the biggest star power. As much as I want to see Ronda Rousey improve, and I actually like Ronda Rousey, she's not in the potential that she can main event Raw. Well, Seth Rollins can show that he can actually have good performing matches, even though how repetitive he is. He's a top performer. Sure, some of his moves are dangerous, but people want to see his moves. And if you don't have that, how in the hell are you going to make Raw more notable to watch? That's what you want for your main event. You want your top stars that have more TV time to main event. You don't want Sasha Banks and Ronda Rousey to main event all because they have a championship match. And that's the only match that's been built up. For the entire brand, not the Universal title. That you just changed it out to blue a few weeks ago. The Intercontinental title that you're trying to rush a feud so Apollo Crews can actually feel relevant like he did back in 2016 and 17. That was good, right? So, come on. What are we trying to get here? Because for the last few matches, it's been just conflict after conflict. Oh, because they got each other's faces in the ring. Do backstage segments, then later on book the match later. You have a 3-hour show, you can't do backstage promos before something happens in the ring? That makes a lot more sense. I'm not going to go back to Ruthless Aggression. It just makes more logical sense in my opinion and how you can book a match and how exciting it can be for the fans. I get that you want the action now, but it's just not going to work. Not going to work, brother. It's just not going to work. And it's dragging. It's dragging completely all matches that could be built up and fans that actually want to see a near fall match in the main event. They don't want to watch it in the middle of the show. I know it's 3 hours. That means you want these guys to show off more of their athleticism. But if these people can see it on YouTube, see it on TV a lot, and you guys do the live events of this, why in the hell do you need 3 hours? These guys have to do this 24/7. 3 hours on Monday Night Raw. You think that's a bit much? I'm just saying. This is just overdoing it, especially for Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. That had a decent match. It wasn't big. few stiff moves. Then Dean Ambrose had a backstage promo. Rollins beat him. Next, there was a promo by Dean Ambrose saying that he put his body on the line. Acting like a complete whiner, like he's an interesting, captivating character, all because he was really trying to pull his heel turn off Roman Reigns' leukemia and trying to think that he can get big heel heat ruining, something like that. When he says nothing offensive, he does nothing interesting. Most of his matches been regular matches. They were trying to pull him off as like the new Brian Pillman, Mick Foley type little loser, while he's just from a scrawny little loser that looks like I can beat up to a guy that buffed out a bit that actually looks like he can beat somebody up, but he has nothing interesting. Dean Ambrose just seems bland and he looks like a whiner. Now he looks like he's not going to be in the program with anything, so he's just going to compete in the Royal Rumble because he doesn't have a program with anybody. We had Lucha House Party versus the Singh Brothers and Jinder Mahal, and the Lucha House Party won. Jinder Mahal, everybody, your former WWE champion, can't even hold his team for a match against the Lucha House Party that traded wins with the Revival for the last month. Why are they still here? They have arm tape, they have shoulder tape around themselves. Real quick, what happened? Shoot, man. What happened to Jinder? Grand Metalik, Hill to tilt or world backbreaker for a surprise 1-2-3. It was just stupid finish. It was a sloppy match, flips all over the place. Obviously, these guys are trying to do extra against the Singh brothers that are not even that talented, and Jinder Mahal just does rest holds. That's pretty much it. He's not that interesting as a character. Next up, it was just a captivating another conflict that drags into another boring 12-minute match or 15-minute match against Baron Corbin and Elias, and what they stopped feuding. But they're still gonna feud. Why is Baron Corbin still here? It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. We started up in a good note, getting up the pop. I thought it's just gonna be that. I know somebody was gonna come into the ring. I knew somebody was just gonna come into the ring, ruin the day, have a boring match. That Baron Corbin won. He won. Got a few stiff moves. Of course, Elias brings us that stupid high knee that I think could really mess somebody up for real this time, if it's not planned correctly. And yeah, he ended it with an end of days out of nowhere and won. I mean, good for Baron Corbin, but he got to stop with this wearing the suit gimmick. I don't know why. I don't know if he just doesn't look like he's in the best shape. In my opinion, he looks like he's in bad shape. If he continues wearing a suit with those sleeves rolled up. In my thoughts, I think that's just weak to hold your body. Hold what your body looks like if you can still do big boots and stuff like that. I find that pointless. It was a pretty good. It was a pretty alright showing. But it was, you guys could have just had a bit of a promo and hit him with a guitar, and that could have been a segment. And then an awkward segment involving the guy that's supposed to be handing Alexa coffee most of the time, and it's bedazzled and crap. The most BS, full of crap girl wouldn't even have bedazzled coffee. How much work does that go into actually get a coffee cup that Deadass has bedazzled? That is bedazzled, and it costs like $12. I would hurt somebody if they bought that for me. So yes, this is supposed to be an interview involving Nia Jax for some apparent reason, not the women's champion, or somebody that's actually making a big impact into women's Royal Rumble. But somehow it's Nia Jax. She's the biggest woman in the in the Battle Royal, and she's not even a major wild card. Her biggest notoriety is punching accidentally. It was accidental or purposely punching Becky Lynch in the face to get her on real life fucking nosebleed and acting like she's an actual threat. This unintentional punch in the face could be the major threat of me tapping out in a pay-per-view. Nia Jax really lost me since her WWE roster debut. And I'm not saying that I'm not making these fat jokes all because I'm an insensitive piece of crap. Because I am an insensitive piece of crap. But I'm honest when it comes to talent. And whenever I see talent, I be honest and I always be strict about how I want these guys to be. Alexa Bliss has the talent. She has charisma. I just think what she's given, it makes her feel like she's like 6 years below her actual age. I think Charlotte is still one of the top women in the company. People don't give her that much credit. Becky Lynch should be in better programs. Most of these women should be in factions. There should be more managerial positions or actual tag teams if you're going to make this tag team crap legit. I'm just saying you should do more than just make like 1 or 2 segments involving Ronda Rousey, 1 or 2 segments involving Alexa Bliss. Stop being linear. You guys can do more. You guys have the time, you have the production, you have the money. Be more expansive. And be more stricter on your talent. It's not that hard. And the time I just see Nia Jax, it just tells me that people don't mess with her when she's a heel. Nobody wants to feel that she's a heel. Nobody wants to hate her. They just want her off the screen. She's really unlikable. She has no characteristics. She feels like that overriding feminist that messes around with some gay dudes or at least some guys around your neighborhood. She's really annoying. She doesn't captivate me as a, intimidating woman that can actually beat up people. At all. At all. So the tag team titles were also introduced. And there would be a tag team match involving the Ascension and Heavy Machinery. And the Ascension that came from a high NXT, drop just like the Heavy Machinery. I don't know if Heavy Machinery, I know Ascension were the longest reigning tag team champions on NXT. I never heard much about Heavy Machinery, but Otis Dobovich, he can do the worm. He's incredibly athletic. Tucker Knight is just there, so this is supposed to be the current day. Jesse and Festus. Jesse, whatever. They had a squash match. They beat him because they're baby faces. These guys came and showed up. They showed up again and interrupted Alexa Bliss. Plus, Alexa Bliss will be healthy enough to be in the Royal Rumble. Every other woman came. It was corny. Women started acting like idiots and fighting. Then one of the NXT women came. Then there was Nikki Cross that was acting like a psychotic cricket woman. It was really disinteresting. It was stupid. It was a stupid segment. All I was waiting was for Alexa Bliss to just like, if she wanted it, she could have just dragged the surprise, being like a super important woman that changed the scene, made a huge direction for the women's division is coming to the Royal Rumble, and it's a surprise. And she could have just dragged that out until a lot of women just came out or something like that. Just asking who. That could have been more exciting than just telling everybody that there's a female Royal Rumble. That's not how you build excitement. I'm just saying. This is a pretty poor segment. This was a pretty poor segment, and Nia Jax is really annoying. That's pretty much how I summed up that entire segment. Next was a tag team title match involving the Revival versus Gable and Rude. This was alright. I mean, there were spotted calls all over the place. I'm not going to give it to the Revival. There's nothing interesting about them except that they can do fluid tag team moves. They can do rest holds. They can do a few drop kicks. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. There's nothing that much interesting about the Revival. That's pretty much it. They have nothing interesting. Recording. That's even though they had Kurt Hawkins as a special guest referee for no reason, they have no segments going into it. He was actually being on point. Somehow a wrestler was more on point and more on spot, calling rope breaks and actual pinfalls, extended pinfalls, just knowing when cheap moves were actually being attempted from the Revival. He was actually calling it down the middle, and it costed them the tag team titles. So obviously after the match, it was post-match assault on the referee, that was Kurt Hawkins. For Zack Ryder to come out of nowhere into a system, we might have the Edgeheads. That sounds like a negative. And it stays a negative for the rest of your born life. So the main event was the crappiest match in the main event. In a show. It was the crappiest match in the show. At least there was a few flashy moves off Lucha House Party. And at least the luchadors actually know what they're doing. Ronda Rousey, yes, she had a good year in 2018. And obviously she has some growing to do in the WWE. Obviously with this crappy gimmick. With her trying to be inspired by Roddy Piper. And her trying to get along with everybody. And this crappy little feud that she's having with Sasha Banks, all because of a misunderstanding. How can you make you have the top belt in the company, and you're telling me that you guys feud all because of misunderstanding? Not a sign of respect. Not that you're the top dog because of a misunderstanding. After Sasha Banks won that little gauntlet match, I thought this would be a little bit more intense to show that both of these women are submissionists, while Sasha Banks can't even do Hurricane Rana right. There was a few botched moves. Everything was a complete botch. It was a crappy main event. Very little offense shown, like from the last time I saw. A very non-conflicting offense shown by Ronda Rousey. It was disinteresting. Dude, I just wanna collect myself, because obviously we're gonna get reported on the card of the Royal Rumble soon. Obviously off my schedule. I have a lot more free time than regularly back last year. So, good enough for me. We're gonna go over what's gonna happen at the Royal Rumble. Obviously, I won't have a prediction, but I will update if something big happens later on after the pay-per-view, because I don't like predictions over the pay-per-views. I think it's going to lower the suspense. While the Super Bowl will be coming soon, man, I give Raw 4. It's worse than SmackDown. I reviewed SmackDown already. Did not get uploaded yet. I thought they were just trying to drag on a bit too much. Try to force feuds that should have taken weeks. Just weeks. Better writing. They obviously didn't have better promos. They didn't have better reasonings. They just had Ronda and Sasha Banks fight. For the fight, Sasha Banks takes it like nobody else lost embarrassingly from Nia Jax. Didn't you know Asuka beat her? Charlotte beat her. Becky Lynch beat her. Ronda beat her. It's just not that impressive. Well, Ronda barely lost embarrassingly at a pay-per-view match yet. I thought the Revival are just dying. The more time you just have them lose. You had them win the tag titles, and it's like, that's it. Just like Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they won the tag team titles. What are they doing now? Nothing. The women's division obviously has to do something better. It's either make a game changer, make a big major turn off one of the characters they have for this Royal Rumble. Please make the second one better than the first. Especially with Alexa coming back. They gotta do something major. Let her win. Please. Obviously. I don't want to see Nia Jax win. There's nobody captivating in the women's division except Alexa Bliss that actually has her own character. She's actually interesting. She's cocky. She has everything you need to see a woman. A woman. She's not ultra feminist. She's not an ultra loser. She's not as PG. That's how you build a woman. That's how you build a champion. That's how you build a superstar. Not Bayley. Not the Riot Squad that look completely like idiots. Not Natalya that's been in the shelf even when she wins the women's title. Or the Divas title, she's in the shelf permanently. They did nothing interesting with her. The tag team division is still in shambles. I do not like heavy machinery. Elias is just going to be built. He's just going to have another bad year. I love Elias. Please do something better. Jinder Mahal, you can't save him. I thought that Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre might be like the top 10 people left in the Royal Rumble. Or they might have a kickoff match. I don't care. Another kickoff match, maybe Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley is going at it at the kickoff show. Brock Lesnar and Finn Balor is going to be at least 15 minutes long. You'd barely see a long Brock Lesnar match unless it's a multi-man match, so this might be a crappy finish or a twisted moment. No way they're going to take Finn Balor seriously. They did it. Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar, guessing what that was for. It should have taken quicker, even though Daniel Bryan was the WWE champion. I'm just saying, and he won it a week, like under 7 days after the pay-per-views, before the pay-per-view even started. So, just my thoughts. I'm happy for everybody. I hope everybody had a great week, and I can't wait for the Super Bowl. Damn, just me wanna watch some old Jacqueline pictures. Thanks for watching. Bye, folks.